He now wants me to consult him on that, and I have a job opportunity on the side, in addition to this. That's basically what networking is about. It's not really about like, oh, I'm going to put on my work clothes and go to this networking event. It's more about your daily life, incorporating opportunities into your daily life. And on a practical tip, I always carry business cards in my car because I switch purses all the time. Sometimes I don't carry a purse, and I've been caught too many times where I just don't have one. It just doesn't look professional. If you want a business card for free, you can go to vistaprint.com. It's completely free, $5 I think for shipping. And if you don't have a job right now, just put, I used to not have a job, I put freelance writer, and I had my name on there. I didn't have like any company behind it. But no, you need something to hand out to people so they can contact you. And I was a freelance writer. I was looking to write.
Did the camera die?
No, just it can only record 12-minute intervals. So
Okay.
I just had it's recording still.
Perfect.
Sorry, I just have, and you can, you don't have to just go to specific events. Like, there are certain, like, there are certain places that you'll meet the same kind of, like, for example, the whole food scene, full of bloggers. If you're into blogging, you go to a food event, you're gonna meet, like, 15 bloggers. And yes, Jason, like,
Whole Foods is full of more than just bloggers. Sorry.
so if you go to, like, a food festival, you meet one blogger, they'll introduce you to 15. It will just blow up. And, like, if you're into entertainment, I don't know, you, like, meet a DJ and they'll know, like, 5 billion people in the entertainment industry. So, like, just go, like, really, like, zooming into specific events that you're interested in entering those industries.
There's also
Catherine?
virtual networking, like LinkedIn, which is I think a really useful tool.
And that brings us to something that we'll discuss in the next meeting, and that's social networking. And we will, in the next meeting, discuss do's and don'ts of social networking. But that's going to be a beast of all its own, because it just really is. I'm sorry, I wanna move on to the next portion because we're starting to draw close to our deadline, and I want to leave room for discussion and questions. This next portion of potty training is actual do's and don'ts. And so I have a condensed article here from Forbes magazine. It's called Sober Advice for Drinking with the Boss. And so this next section is going to focus on business lunch etiquette, primarily. So going out, having a drink socially at a mixer, eating lunch, talking business, things of that nature. And then we'll do a little role play. So sobering advice for drinking with the boss. Now that graduation is over, and this doesn't apply to people that have just graduated only, we figure it's a good time to go over how drinking with colleagues differs from drinking with friends. While getting fall down drunk and slurring your words in college might be acceptable behavior, it's definitely not okay at office gatherings. We're not saying you don't go out for beer with your coworkers. On the contrary, workplaces, especially an office with a young staff, can be very social places, particularly in the summer. Going to a happy hour with your manager and colleagues is a great way to get to know each other in a relaxed atmosphere. But be careful how much you indulge. Once you've been nicknamed the office lush, removing that label is a difficult task. It's one thing to have a drink and laugh, but it's another to get blitzed. You're relearning a behavior. In college, getting drunk is rewarded. But when you're in the workplace, there are different consequences. This is the most important aspect of this to pay attention to. The right number of drinks, depending on who you are, is 0 or 1. That's a hard message for college students who are used to going out and drinking without limits. The 1 drink limit is for the person who can nurse a drink. If you're not good at knowing when to stop, don't have any alcoholic drinks. Be equally cautious at job interviews. It's not unusual for interviewers to take a candidate out to lunch and suggest that they both order a drink. When the interviewee's glass is empty, the interviewer offers another. This is a test. They want to see if you're grown up or if you're still in party mode.
Why are you looking over here?
He's looking at the camera.
cameras aren't here.
So, some of the other things to be aware of is, you know, what types of alcohol you buy, or have. Probably best to get a light beer if you're gonna have a drink. But there's also other aspects to take into consideration. Basically, you know, what is that individual drinking? What is your interviewer or your boss? You can have something similar. You don't need to finish the drink. You don't have to have more than a couple sips of a drink if you don't want to. Or obviously you have the choice to not have anything. And we will talk more about appropriate drinks and meals and everything. So say you're at a mixer. One of the things that we want to learn how to do is how to talk about business by not talking about business. The very last thing that a boss or anyone else wants to hear at a table is problems in a workplace. Sure, the occasional gossip is good, and talking about current issues that apply is good conversation. When you get tipsy, people tend to let out frustration and negative emotions. Be conscious of this habit. Don't let your tongue get the best of you. Learn to talk about things that matter through indirect topics that can allow you to transition into more sensitive issues. Let's say you want to talk about how the IT department is really making things difficult for you to implement a new solution. If you just let your well, okay, you guys get the example here. I cut and paste too much. So take a roundabout approach to commenting on IT department and transition quickly into how they need to be more accessible to your solution. So basically this goes back to what April was touching on and what Judy was touching on. Let's not be super negative in our interactions, and just because you're out having a drink with somebody, blowing off steam, that's not a vent session, especially when you're with your boss or a potential employer. This one's very important. Part of networking. Open your ears to make mental notes. This is basically going out and having a drink, not drinking to drink, not drinking to party, but drinking to listen. And so oftentimes when you go out and do a social setting, lots of people get nervous, and a drink can be that barrier between you and the other person. It gives you that little bit of comfortable space. It's an actual physical barrier. So if you have a sip or something of a drink and you're conversing with somebody, pay attention to what they're saying is what this is doing, or what this is suggesting. Take a step back and make these mental notes and follow up on the following day, which is what April was saying. When you're at the office or writing an email, you've had all the insight to find a connection or solve the problem that's on his or her mind. Listen diligently, network, and return with a solution that otherwise would not have surfaced. So this is basically take a social drinking occasion or a business drinking occasion as an opportunity to gain a better perspective and insight into your work environment, not an opportunity to get hammered and call a cab home. Does that make some sense? A little bit? Okay. We're going to get into the specific do's and don'ts of business dining etiquette. The don'ts of business dining etiquette. Everybody pay attention to this one. I guess I should explain why business etiquette is important. You can turn people off in 2 seconds at a meal if you don't have the proper etiquette. How do you say this politely? Employers don't want to train you, and they want to make sure that they can go out into the field with you and that you'll represent the company in the best light possible. And that's why it's important to have a good understanding of business etiquette. Some of the don'ts. Don't talk while chewing your food. Swallow your food first and then engage in conversation. Keep your mouth closed while you chew. Don't refold your napkin when leaving the table for a moment. Place it on the back of your chair or on your seat. Nobody wants to see your dirty napkin.
Back of the chair.
Huh?
Sorry.
Nobody does it
Yeah,
on the back of the
that's like
chair,
on
but just
display.
put it on your seat. Don't toss it back up on the table. These are very specific. This is like very proper etiquette, but you never know when you might find yourself at a very high-powered situation. So, don't blow on your food if it's too hot. Wait a moment until it cools off. Don't make any offensive noises while dining with others. No slurping or burping, crunching, drooling, smacking, or picking your teeth. Don't hold your utensils in a dagger position. Yes.
Don't point at people.
Don't point. There's a ton of these, and we'll continue to go over all of these as we go, but I just want to blast them. The do's. Use your napkin every 2 or 3 bites while dining. If you're in an interview, nobody's going to tell you that you have a piece of broccoli stuck to your cheek. So just use it after every 2 or 3 bites. Place your water or wine glass on the right-hand side of the table you are sitting. Return your glass to the same spot that each time so that your dining partner doesn't pick it up and the waiter knows who's having what. Cut only 1 bite-sized piece of food at a time. I know this is nitty-gritty, but this is how it works. That also provides you opportunity to talk, and we'll do a little demonstration here in 1 second. Swallow your food. Swallow your food. Swallow your food before you take a sip of your beverage or water. What happens if you're choking? That's just what I want. Finally, place your dinner napkin on the left of the table when you're done eating. This is a silent signal that, whatever. This is all telling people how to be good little robots. But some of these things are important, especially when you're in an interview situation. Sometimes